Cassandra was impossible to ignore. She had this calm, magnetic energy that pulled everyone toward her. When she smiled, the entire room seemed to shift. I didn't stand a chance. She asked what I did for work, and I told her about my marketing firm. Her eyes lit up like I had just said something heroic. "That's so impressive," she said. No one had ever looked at me that way before. We had coffee that turned into dinner. Dinner that turned into late-night talks about dreams and ambition. She told me she was an influencer building her personal brand. Fashion, travel, and lifestyle, she said. She had 30,000 followers and wanted to reach 100. I admired her drive. She said she admired my focus. It felt like we were on the same path, just different directions of the same dream. Within a week, we were inseparable. She texted me every morning before I even woke up. "Good morning, handsome. Hope you're ready to conquer today." I didn't realize how quickly she was learning my routine. Where I worked when I slept, what made me feel needed. She knew exactly which buttons to press. The first time she stayed over, she left a toothbrush. Then a few days later, a drawer full of clothes. Soon my bathroom smelled like her perfume. My kitchen had her favorite snacks. It happened so naturally, I barely noticed. She said she felt safer with me. I liked hearing that. After years of being alone, the idea of coming home to someone felt new and warm. When we went out, she turned heads everywhere. People whispered, some even asked if she was famous. She loved that attention, and I loved being the guy beside her. But small cracks started to show. She always forgot her wallet at restaurants. She complained that her income from brand deals was late. I offered to cover her bills until things picked up. She hugged me tight and whispered, "You're my hero." It felt good at first. Helping her made me feel strong, successful. I didn't see that it was becoming one-sided. When I worked late, she pouted. When I missed her calls, she accused me of not caring. She wanted me to post her on my social media, to show everyone we were serious. I did it without hesitation. Her follower count jumped overnight. She started getting more gifts, more brand offers. I thought that was a win for both of us. But every time she gained something, I lost a little more control. Friends warned me to slow down. They said she moved too fast, cared too much about appearances. I laughed it off. They didn't know her like I did. I told myself she was ambitious, not manipulative. That she loved me, not my money. I was proud to be her boyfriend, the man behind her shining image. What I didn't know was that her perfect smile was already hiding the next move. And I was about to become the story she would use for her next post. The first time I heard his name was over dinner. She mentioned him casually, like he was no big deal. "Ryan," she said, swirling her wine. "My business partner and content manager." She said he handled her photos, brand emails, and strategy calls. "He's engaged," she added quickly, as if that made everything safe. "He's been with his fiancée, Emily, for years." I nodded and pretended it didn't bother me. But something about the way she said his name stuck in my mind. A few days later, I met him. Ryan was tall, charming, fit, the kind of guy who knew he looked good. He shook my hand too firmly and smiled too easily. "Hey man, I've heard a lot about you," he said. His tone was polite, but his eyes said something else. He called Cassandra Cass in a way that felt too familiar. During their photo shoots, he touched her waist to adjust her pose. He brushed her hair back like it was second nature. Every small gesture made my stomach twist. When I told Cassandra I was uncomfortable, she laughed. "Ethan, please. Ryan is practically family. He's engaged. Don't be insecure." Her words cut deep. She made it sound like jealousy was a weakness, not a warning. I started questioning myself instead of her. Maybe I was too paranoid. Maybe I just didn't understand how the influencer world worked. But Ryan's presence never felt right. He texted her late at night about content ideas. He showed up at our apartment without knocking. He used our shower once because his water was off. Cassandra defended him every time. He's just under a lot of stress. He trusts me more than anyone. That part was true. Too true. At parties, Ryan acted like he was half her boyfriend, half her manager. He poured her drinks, fixed her makeup, whispered in her ear. When I approached, their conversation always stopped. They exchanged looks that weren't friendly. My best friend Mark noticed it instantly. That guy's not engaged, he told me. I've seen that type before. He's playing the long game. I didn't want to believe it. Cassandra showed me pictures of Ryan and Emily on Instagram. Smiling, holding hands, like the perfect couple. But the photos looked old, filtered, distant. Something about them didn't feel real. Mark shook his head. Those are props, man. You're being played. I brushed it off, trying to stay calm. I told myself love required trust. That not every woman was out to hurt me. But I couldn't shake the unease building inside me. The late nights. The whispers. The way Ryan's car always seemed to be outside our building. It all felt wrong. Still, I said nothing. I kept smiling, kept paying the bills, kept believing the lies. I thought ignoring my gut made me a good boyfriend. In reality, it made me the perfect target. It started with an innocent conversation over breakfast. Cassandra mentioned a big networking event in Miami. All the top influencers will be there, she said. Ryan and I got invited to collaborate with fitness brands. I asked if I could come along. She laughed softly, like I'd said something childish. Baby, it's work. You'd be bored out of your mind. She said it was better if I stayed home and focused on my business. I didn't like it, but I wanted to trust her. A few days later, she showed me the itinerary. Flights, hotels, event passes, it all looked legitimate. She said Ryan had covered his own costs. When I asked how she could afford hers, she froze. Then she smiled and said, "Don't worry about it." Later that night, I saw her credit card bill on the counter. It was maxed out, over $15,000 in debt. She had less than $200 in her account. When I confronted her, she started crying. "I just need this one chance, Ethan," she sobbed. "This trip could change everything for me and for us." I hated seeing her upset. So, like a fool, I offered to pay for everything. She hugged me tight and whispered how lucky she was to have me. I believed every word. When she left for Miami, she kissed me at the airport like it was forever. For 2 days, she called and texted like normal. Then the updates stopped. Her Instagram, though, told a different story. Photos of beaches, luxury dinners, and rooftop parties. Every picture looked like a couple's vacation, not a business trip. Ryan was in every frame. His arm around her waist, their faces close, drinks in hand. In one video, he lifted her into the ocean while she laughed. It felt like a knife twisting in my chest. When I asked about it, she dismissed it quickly. "You don't understand content creation," she said. "It's all staged for engagement." But deep down, I knew it wasn't staged. That night, my phone rang. It was Mark. He was in Miami for work. "Ethan, sit down," he said. "I'm looking at them right now. They're making out at a restaurant." I felt my whole body go numb. He sent pictures. Cassandra and Ryan kissing, holding hands, feeding each other. There was no room for doubt. For 3 days, Mark kept sending more evidence. Clubs, beaches, hotel balconies. Each photo worse than the last. When she came home, I pretended nothing happened. She smiled, hugged me, acted like everything was perfect. She told stories about meetings that never existed. I nodded, smiled, and said nothing. She thought she had fooled me again. But something inside me had changed. I wasn't going to yell, cry, or beg. I was going to play the long game. If she wanted to teach me a lesson in betrayal, I was about to teach her one in consequences. While Cassandra was busy living her double life, my world flipped in a different way. I landed the biggest contract of my career. A national retail chain wanted me to handle their entire digital strategy. 3 years, $2.1 million. The kind of deal that changes everything. I sat in my office staring at the signed papers, barely breathing. For the first time, I didn't feel small. I didn't feel like a man chasing approval. I felt powerful, and I decided to use that power wisely. Cassandra didn't know about the contract. I kept it to myself. While she was spinning stories about brand partnerships, I was planning my next move. I didn't want revenge and anger. I wanted precision. That's when Sophie entered the picture. She was a personal trainer I met months earlier at the gym. Smart, kind, and brutally honest. She had gone through her own heartbreak with a cheating ex. We had become friends over late workouts and quiet talks. When I finally told her what Cassandra had done, she didn't look surprised. "She sounds like every manipulator I've ever met," Sophie said. Then she smiled. "Let's see how she handles her own medicine." The idea was simple. Cassandra claimed trips with attractive friends were harmless. So I'd take one. A weekend getaway to Napa Valley with Sophie. Nothing fake, no lies, just a mirror to her hypocrisy. We planned it carefully. Separate rooms, but shared photos. Vineyards, dinners, spa treatments, all captured perfectly. Sophie was good with social media. She knew exactly how to make something look romantic without crossing the line. Before leaving, I tested Cassandra. "You were right," I told her one night. "Friends should be able to travel together without jealousy." Her face lit up for a second. "Really?" she asked. Then I added, "Yeah, Sophie and I are going to Napa next weekend." Her smile vanished instantly. "What? You can't be serious." I stayed calm. "Why not? It's just business networking and friendship, right?" She tried to hide her panic. "It's different when it's a guy and a girl," she said. "Everyone knows there's always temptation." I almost laughed at the irony. I just nodded. "You're right, I'll keep it local," I said. But the trip was already booked. When Friday came, I told her I was spending the weekend with Mark. She believed me. Sophie and I hit the road early, roof down, music up. The air felt lighter than it had in months. We weren't running away. We were walking straight into a storm we had created on purpose. And for the first time, I felt calm. Not angry. Not broken. Just ready to let karma speak louder than words. Napa Valley was the perfect stage. Golden hills, quiet roads, wine fields stretching for miles. Sophie and I checked into a luxury resort with separate rooms. We didn't need to fake anything beyond the pictures. The goal was to let Cassandra see herself in the mirror she built. By Saturday afternoon, the first photo went live. Sophie and I standing in a vineyard, laughing under the sun. Within 10 minutes, my phone started buzzing. Text after text from Cassandra. "Having fun without me. Who's that girl? Call me right now." I ignored every message. We posted another photo at dinner. Candlelight, wine glasses, and a caption that read "Weekend Reset." It looked exactly like the kind of post she made with Ryan. Cassandra called nonstop. Her tone switched from playful to furious. "You think this is funny? You're embarrassing me." I still didn't answer. By Sunday morning, the resort security called. "Sir, there's a woman in the lobby demanding to see you." I walked to the balcony and saw her outside. Cassandra, hair messy, makeup streaked, yelling into her phone. She was crying, shouting my name, causing a full scene. Other guests started filming her breakdown. Security eventually escorted her off the property. Sophie just shook her head. "Guess she didn't like the taste of her own logic," she said. I finally felt something close to peace. On the drive home, the air felt clearer. The noise in my head was gone. But I knew the story wasn't over yet. When I got home that night, she was waiting inside my apartment. Candles lit, soft music playing, mascara still on her cheeks. She tried to look fragile. "How could you do this to me?" she whispered. "After everything we've been through." I dropped my bag and looked her straight in the eye. "You mean after what you did in Miami?" Her smile cracked. "That's completely different," she said quickly. "Ryan is my business partner." "Then, why were you kissing your business partner on the beach?" She froze. I pulled out my phone and showed her Mark's photos. Her face changed color. Shock, denial, anger, then panic. "These are fake," she shouted. "Mark hates me. He wants us to break up." I stayed silent. She flipped through more pictures, each one destroying her story. Finally, her knees buckled, and she started crying for real. "It was just a few kisses. It didn't mean anything," she said. "I love you, not him." I took a deep breath and pointed to the door. "Pack your things, we're done." Her tears stopped instantly. She stood up straight, eyes cold. "You can't kick me out. I've been living here for a year." "Your name's not on the lease," I said. "You don't pay rent. You're leaving tonight." She screamed, cursed, even tried to hit me. When I called the police, she went silent. 2 officers arrived and escorted her out. As the door closed, I felt the first real quiet in months. Cassandra was gone. And for the first time, I didn't feel like the victim anymore. For weeks after she left, the apartment felt different. Quiet, clean, peaceful in a way I hadn't felt in years. I focused on work, on the $1 million contract, on rebuilding myself. But the story of Cassandra wasn't over. Word spread fast in her world. Her roommates kicked her out after discovering she hadn't paid rent for months. Ryan disappeared the moment my money was gone. She went from champagne brunches to living with her parents again. I didn't feel sorry for her. Not after everything she'd done. Still, life has a way of circling back. 4 months later, I ran into Ryan at a business event. He looked nothing like before, pale, tired, defeated. He was working part-time at a coffee shop. He avoided eye contact, but finally walked over. "Ethan, man, I'm sorry," he said quietly. "I screwed up. You didn't deserve what happened." I didn't respond at first. Then I asked, still with Cassandra. He shook his head fast. "She's crazy, dude. I mean actually dangerous." He told me how she'd turned on him after I kicked her out. She threatened him, stalked him, tried to ruin his reputation. Then he said something that froze my blood. "She planned to baby trap you," Ryan whispered. "She told me she stopped taking birth control months before Miami. She wanted to get pregnant, so you'd have to marry her. She even talked about divorce lawyers and child support." I just stared at him, unable to breathe. He wasn't lying. His face was pale with fear, not guilt. He said she'd been asking around about me again. Where I lived, how much I was earning if I was seeing anyone. That night, I hired private security for my home and office. If Cassandra wanted to play another game, I'd be ready. 3 weeks later, I got the call. The building guard said a woman was downstairs. She claimed to be my girlfriend and said she was pregnant. I already knew who it was. "Send her up," I said calmly, pressing record on my phone. She walked in wearing a loose dress, one hand on her stomach. "Ethan, I need to talk to you," she said softly. "Let me guess," I said. "You're pregnant with my baby." Her face went blank for a second. Then she nodded and started crying. "I found out 2 weeks ago. I didn't know how to tell you." I leaned back and watched her lie. "That's interesting," I said. "Because security saw you visit 4 clinics asking for fake ultrasounds." Her expression shattered. She started backing toward the door. "And those protein shakes you used to make for me," I continued. "My doctor tested them. You were slipping birth control into them." Her mouth opened, but no words came out. The mask was gone completely. She turned and ran out of my office. That was the last time I saw her. Now, when people ask how I learned about trust, I smile. Some lessons cost money. Some cost time. Mine cost both. But it also bought me peace, and I'd pay for that again any day. Months passed, and life finally felt steady again. My business kept growing, faster than I ever imagined. I bought a house outside the city, quiet and surrounded by trees. Every morning, sunlight filled the kitchen instead of tension. Sometimes I still thought about Cassandra, but never with anger. Just disbelief at how far I'd let her inside my life. She became a story I told myself when I needed a reminder. A reminder that love without respect is just control in disguise. Sophie stayed in my life as a friend, steady and genuine. We still laugh about Napa, about how peace can look like revenge. Mark said karma doesn't always come fast, but it always comes clean. He was right. Cassandra lost the game she created. Ryan vanished into the background like a ghost from a bad dream. And I, somehow, walked away with everything she tried to take. Money, success, clarity, and freedom. Some people enter your life to teach you love. Others enter to teach you limits. She taught me both. And for that, I'll always be grateful.